Hey everyone, thanks for clicking on my recap of the Lake Norman Wildman Half Marathon. Khan's not in this video, so I decided to include a picture of him being cool at the beginning. Okay, here's my gear flat lay for the Lake Norman Half Marathon Wildman. That's the official name of the race. Pretty standard fare for me, Reckless Running singlet. This is the Sugar Skull one. Haven't worn that one in a while. Rabbit Speedster Racing Short Tights. This seems to be the pair I always wear when there's inclement weather. It is supposed to be raining tomorrow. The race is tomorrow, by the way. Injinji lightweight no-show toe socks. I'm going to be wearing the ASICS Metaspeed Edge Paris because I put a poll up this past week, and this was the winner for which shoe I should wear. If it is really slick and I decide to kind of renege on that, then I do have the Adidas Adios Pro 3 as a backup because hashtag Continental Rubber, but I think I'm going to be just fine in these. I think there's going to be plenty of grip with that ASICS outsole. I'll have a running hat. I'll have the GoPro on me, probably going to hold it in my hand. A couple of Martin Gel 160s that might be a little bit overkill, but overkill is underrated. Usually I'll take a couple gels during a half marathon, not because I need to, but just because I like a little bit of boost. So I might have one of these beforehand and one halfway through. Probably going to do my warm-up and cool down in the Boston 12 because hashtag Continental Rubber. Yeah, I think that's about it. Race is tomorrow morning, and I'll see you guys then. Okay, so I'm here at the race venue, and I don't know if you can tell outside. It's a little bit rainy, not too bad, kind of a light rain. I don't feel a whole lot of wind, so that's a good thing, knock on wood. Certainly not as bad as Battleship Half was in October, and not nearly as bad as Frosty 50 was in January. So I think the weather won't be too much of a factor today. It's going to be in the low 50s Fahrenheit, so I shouldn't be getting cold. I'm going to go check in, and yeah, I've got about an hour until race time. All right, so I was wrong. The wind has picked up. It's probably going to be a thing, especially coming back up the hill in the last mile. We'll talk about the course here in a minute. Okay, so I've got my packet. They've got some pretty decent swag for a local half marathon. It's a nice tech shirt, a beanie with the racing company on it, plastic cup, not too bad. Yeah, the wind has picked up. So this is not going to be a fast half marathon. It's not an A race, that's all right. But I came out and did a little course recon a couple of days ago. It's a 2-loop course, and each loop is actually more of just one big out and back that has several little out and backs shooting off of it. And it's going to be rolling hills pretty much the whole way. Nothing really steep, but nothing to really, get a good rhythm on either. It's like every turn you go down a hill and then up a hill, and then every out and back is like going up a hill and then back down, or down a hill and back up. So it won't be a fast course. If the wind plays into it, then that'll just make it a little bit more unpleasant. I think I would be doing well to run this one at something close to marathon pace, which would give me a half finish that is 2 or 3 minutes slower than what I think I could do on a fair course on a good day right now. But, I'm not really going to go by time. I'm really kind of just out here to compete. And luckily, I've been running a lot of hills to get ready for Umstead, which I did 3 weeks ago. So I think I've still got some of that hill strength working in my favor. We'll see who shows up. Local races like this, you never know who's going to run away with it. About 10 minutes into a warm-up. Legs are definitely not awake yet. Looks like the sky might be clearing up a little bit. The rain is letting off. The tarmac looks slippery. Apparently, we're trespassing right now. Anyway, it looks slick, but I think the footing is going to be just fine. This is pretty fresh tarmac, so the grip's going to be good. All right, got the race shoes on now, ready to go. Probably about 15 or 20 minutes. I'm muting this part of the clip because there's music playing in the background and I don't want to get hit with a copyright issue.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Here we go. Big downhill. The second half of the first mile here, which I'm gonna have to climb up at the end twice. First of many turnarounds. More out and back, going down a hill, turning around the cone, and coming back up. Lots of this today. About 3.5 miles in, got about a 2-minute lead on the next runner. Just going around you?
Yeah, that's it, I guess.
All right. Thanks, guys. Time to gobble up some 5K runners. Here's the start of a half climb hill into the wind. The first time I do it, the next time will be in the last mile of the race. Coming around to finish the first loop. Gonna get rid of this hat. Good job. First loop was 40 minutes high, just under 41. I don't know if I'll match that on the second one. That would have me at around a 122 finish, but I don't know if the course is going to be a full 13.1 or not.
Almost there!
Liar. Enjoy this nice long downhill again, because it's the last time I'll be able to enjoy it.
Watch out, man, I'm gonna catch you.
Mile 8 mark, checking in. About 50.5 minutes. Just trying to let the hills come to me and save something for the last couple of miles. Still kind of within myself, but it's not easy. Mile marker 10, just under 63 minutes. Again, GPS not matching up, but the hills are starting to do their thing. Just clocked the second place runner on an out and back. I think I've got about a 3.5 minute lead. Just got to hold that for 2.5 miles. 5th place, man. Last out and back. About 3K left. Oh. The flags tell the story of the wind. That's mile marker 12 up there by the bike. About 1 mile left, and it's the worst one. Let's go. Hey, Richard. Just picked up since the last time I was on this hill. Last stretch though. Come on. Thanks, Eddie. Thank you. Thank you. Got my hat back. Crossed the line in first place. I think I held that 3.5 to 4 minute lead. I just watched the second place runner go by. Here's the medal. Pretty good medal for local half. The wind is picking up and I'm cooling off quickly, so I'm gonna put some layers on for my cool down run. And yeah, I'll do a little recap and a shoe talk after this. First place. Okay, race recap time. Lake Norman Wildman Half Marathon. There is the participation medal, and there is the first overall medal right there. So, yeah, having done some course recon, I knew it was going to be a hilly race, and it was not going to be my fastest race. So I went out with the goal of maintaining at least marathon pace, maybe something between marathon pace and half marathon pace, kind of, I guess, what you would call a 30K pace or a steady state pace. And I'm pleased with my pacing. While it was really hard to maintain a constant pace or a constant rhythm on that hilly course, I think my effort was constant. And in looking back over my GPS data, my Strava data with the GAP, grade adjusted pace, it was pretty consistent. And I'll just kind of throw a clip of that here. So here is the Strava analysis of my race. You can tell all the little dips with the hills and everything. This is the pace. And then if we go over to splits, each of the mile splits, and then we switch to GAP, grade adjusted pace, you can tell that that levels out kind of nicely. So I'm pretty happy with my consistency there. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the consistency there. And I think I felt pretty much within myself for the whole race. I was pushing, but could have maintained it. Now going up some of those long hills, especially into the wind, I was going to be putting forth some effort. But yeah, I was out there behind the lead bike without anyone directly racing with me for pretty much the whole race, wire to wire. Second place runner was about 4 minutes behind me. He had a I think maybe a little more than 4 minutes behind me. He had a 1:26. I had a 1:21.5. But of course, if it were an actual 13.1 mile course, it probably would have been closer to a 1:23 high, because my GPS had an average pace of 6:23, and it was like a 12.7, 12.8 mile course. So if I extrapolate that out, still not a bad half. And on a hilly course like that, I will live with that, especially considering I could have kind of kept that up for a while. Yeah, and it being the first race in a series of half marathons that Epic Sports Marketing is putting on, I guess I kind of have to go out and do some of the other races now, since I'm leading the series after the first race. So we'll go on to the shoe talk here. Of course, after the results of the shoe poll were overwhelmingly in favor of the ASICS Metaspeed Edge Paris, I took that out. I was probably going to take it out anyway. I knew I was going to race it for some shorter stuff. I wanted to see how it did at a half marathon distance, and I think it was a lot better at a half marathon distance, especially a hilly half marathon, than the Metaspeed Edge Plus, its predecessor. Now, the Edge Plus and the Sky Plus were actually pretty good at climbing hills. They're really efficient climbing hills, but on some of those downhills, I might have felt a little bit beat up with this Flight Foam Turbo foam, whereas the Flight Foam Turbo Plus is a bouncier PIBA, and I felt really cushioned on those downhills and like I could just let her rip. And I still felt the economy of running up the hills. It was like a better Vaporfly for me. Those who like the Vaporfly would like this. And the grip was good on the wet tarmac. I figured this ASICS grip was going to be pretty good. I figured I probably would have done just as well had I gone with the second place result, which was the Adios Pro 3. And of course, it would have done great on the slippery tarmac too with the #Continental Rubber. And it does really well at those paces between marathon and half marathon too. But I actually think this one is a little bit comfier and conducive to running fast. This I think is just as fast as its predecessor, but can handle some of those longer distances. That being said, if I were going to pick a marathon shoe, this would probably still be in third place behind these two. The Saucony, and ooh, that matches my shirt. The Saucony Endorphin Elite and the Nike Alpha Fly 3. These are still the top dogs when it comes to racing marathons, I think, just over a longer distance, especially if there are hills involved. Now, if I were doing tight corners, I don't know if I would go with the Alpha Fly 3. This one still is better at cornering than the Alpha Fly 3, but if I'm looking for a PR marathon, I'm probably not going to be doing a lot of 180-degree turns. So yeah, high marks on the ASICS Metaspeed Edge Paris as a racer, at least up to a half marathon, and I can't wait to take it out next week for the Charlotte Craft Beer 5-miler. It's a half marathon and a 5-miler, and I'll be doing the 5-miler, the short distance, and really trying to go fast in this. So expect another video next week. Thanks guys for watching my race recap and my shoe talk. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or share the video, and ding the bell for notifications, and I'll see you on the next run.